I finished my mission and I was on the, going home. Well, before I left on a mission, I was engaged to a girl to be married, and she was very nice. Very, her father was the bishop of the ward. My dad was in the stake presidency, and my mother was the Relief Society stake president, and her mother was my mother's counselor. Okay. So families were really close, and we were, she wrote to me all the time as a mission field, and I did her. But on the way home, I stopped to see my sister Ramona, who her and her husband were the dorm parents at one of the Heritage Halls at Snow Hall. And I was going to get a free meal, and we owned our own cars then. And the church insured them, but we owned them, and I was driving my car home, so I knocked on the door looking for my sister. And that picture I gave you, that's what she looked like. And I thought, oh my gosh, wait just a minute on all this. And I went on home. And I huffed and puffed around. I didn't really go see her, but finally I did. And I said, hey, why don't we, I want to go in the Air Force. And so let's just go back down to college. Well, that was the end of it. Mm-hmm. And I started dating her. We went together that year, and then you went to the Y. You remember, you were social units around when you were there, or they disappeared?
They were gone by the time we were there.
Well, there were social units, and that's the paddle from when I was.
Oh, that is right there.
Yeah, it was like a fraternity. They were like fraternities, and somebody at the church didn't like that, so they did away with them, which was a sad thing to do, I think. It was called Vikings. There's a shield from it up there. I don't know if there's a mug from it, but so I got involved, and I wanted to finish school, and so I went home, and she went home to North Carolina that summer, and I had a tremendous job. I was working for a company called Rigger Roof, who were building a huge sawmill down in Southern Oregon, and because I had to join the union, and I became a heavy equipment operator because I tractors and all growing up in the farming area, and I kept writing, and I'd call to North Carolina once in a while, and then when I finished that summer, I went back to college. I was going back. I said I had made really great money. I got to say that we were getting per diem that we didn't have to pay taxes on because we were in Southern Oregon working on this sawmill. And then I got paid in the late 50s, probably about $7 or $8, $9 an hour, which was really good money then. And we were working overtime, and I was operating equipment, and I was the college boy, so I kept the books for the construction crew. And I came back, and being a Kirkham, I thought, gosh, I had sold my missionary car. I needed to get a neat car. So I got on the airplane, and I flew to Detroit, Michigan, on a Saturday. Went out, talked to the cab driver, and I said, where are all the used car lots that are great in Detroit? And he said, I'll take you there, young fellow. And I went down there, got out, got my bag, and there was a whole line of them, and I walked down the street, and there was this beautiful black and white 1955 Chevrolet convertible with red and white interior. And great story about that is that I went in, and the guy was there. It was Saturday afternoon, and I said, well, you go ahead and drive it, and I did. And I said, I want to buy it. How much is it? He told me, and I said, okay. And I sat down, and dummy, I wrote out a check for it on a bank in Oregon on Saturday afternoon. And this guy looked at the check, and he says, is it good? And I said, yes, sir, it certainly is. And he said, well, you can't register the car. Every DMV's closed. And I said, oh, well, I'm going to North Carolina, and I want to meet this girl I'm going to marry. And he said, here's one of my dealer plates, and here's the title to the car.
Oh, my goodness.
Got in the car and drove to North Carolina and met her folks, and met her and again, and said, I'd like to marry you. And she said, well, I want to finish college. And made a promise. I said, "You bet. You marry me, you can finish college." And she said, "Okay," because I only had 2 years left now. If I hadn't gone on an LDS mission, we would have never met, because she was a freshman and I was a junior, and I would have finished those 2 years and been gone when she came there as a freshman. And that's been 63 years ago.
Wow.
We've been married 61 years now.
That's awesome.
But that happened. I sold that car to some crazy Canadian. Made money on it. Helped pay for college and part of hers.
And you're still in the used car business.
Oh, it's a disease.
It is a disease.
It is a disease.
That's part of being a Kirkham too.